guys, so today I'm going to be showing you a pretty cool trick, and this is what it looks like. So over here, we can shuffle this deck of cards as much as the spectator wants. It's a completely impromptu trick. And once the cards have been shuffled, what I'm going to do is have the spectator select any card out of the middle, so they can touch any card that they want to. Let's say this one right over here. I'll go ahead and show them the card that they settled on, and let's say they're remembering that card. And I want you guys to remember it too. So remember that card. And it gets shuffled back in the center of the deck, just like this. So once the card has been lost in the center of the pack, what I'm going to do is spread the cards out here, and I'm going to ask the spectator, have you ever used your intuition before? Because this trick is all about intuition. I just want you to try and use your intuition and guess which one out of these shuffled cards is yours. And let's say they change their mind a few times, but they settle on this one right over here for some reason. And you know what, in this case, I'll just go ahead and out jog it here so that you guys can see it the entire time in the center of the pack. So let's recap. Remember, you touched any card in the middle when you selected a card, and then we shuffled back in the center. Then I spread the cards out here. You changed your mind a few times, but you settled on one card, being this card right over here. Now, how crazy would it be if you use your intuition correctly and you actually were able to locate the six of diamonds, the actual card that you selected, out of the middle of the deck, just like this. And that is the trick right there. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and if you did, be sure to stick around for the tutorial. Alright guys, so here's the tutorial for the trick that you just saw. So I'm just going to be guessing that a lot of you guys probably know how this trick was done just by watching the performance, which is totally okay, because I'm assuming a lot of you guys are magicians that have at least some knowledge of card tricks already. But the method for this trick is not really the important thing that I'm going to be teaching here. The important thing I'm going to be teaching is how to create images that last in the spectator's mind, even after the trick is over. That's the valuable lesson that I want you guys to leave with here today. And this trick is just a really good example of that. I'll get into more on that when it comes up in the trick, but for now let's learn how to do this trick. So it's completely impromptu. All you want to do is shuffle the deck of cards. The spectator can shuffle it as well, but once it's shuffled, you're just going to have the spectator select any card and then control it to the bottom of the pack. So I used a coal, so I had the spectator select any card. Let's say the Queen of Clubs. I lined it up with the card right on top of it so that when I lower my hands together, my fingers here are going to coal the card underneath like this. So I do that as I lower my hands down, and then that card will be then controlled to the bottom when I square up the cards, and this card will just be a random card. So once it's on the bottom, you can do some more shuffles, but just retain it on the bottom of the pack, just like this. So once you have a card controlled to the bottom, you're going to want to get a pinky break on it any way you like, and then you're going to be transferring this into a gambler's cop position, and you're going to get into this position right before you spread out the cards. So what I do is I bring my hands a little bit back towards the back of the table. That just gives me enough space so I can lower my hand down below the table, and then I can spread the cards out immediately on the table. So the spectator will be distracted by this spreading motion rather than you dropping your hand. So once you're in this position, you have the spectator touch any card, but before you do this, you're actually going to be transferring the cup to a normal palm in your other hand. So you're going to take the card and you're just going to do this under the table. You're going to basically just take your hand and palm the card in a normal palming position. So mostly between the pinky and the base of your thumb right over here. So I just leave this in my hand here, and then I use my cop hand that I originally copped the card out of, and I tell the spectator that they can touch any card that they want to. And they can literally touch any card, it doesn't matter. Let's say this card over here. What you're going to be doing is squaring up the deck and immediately taking the palmed card with your hand. You're just going to drop it immediately, come back, and push the card forward. So it looks like you're just essentially out jogging the card like this. And you just want to do that very casually. This is the part of the trick that you want to practice the most, because you don't want to be like this. You don't want to be here, kind of like dropping it off and then pushing it forward, because you don't want that moment to be held for very long. You want this part to be super relaxed. You just want to be like, okay, so we'll take the card, push it forward, and then immediately you take the other half of the deck and you place it on top of this card, and then you leave this in the middle and you place it down on the table. So this part right here is what's the most important part about this trick, is the images that you're going to create right now in the spectator's mind. So the trick is over. You've done everything. This is going to be their card already, because this is the Queen of Clubs. But this moment right here is what's most important, because when you recap the trick, you're going to tell the spectator that they touched any card, that you shuffled it back in the middle, then they were able to touch any card out of the spread, and this is that card right here that is currently sticking out of the middle of the deck. And you're going to point to this image right over here. And this image that they're looking at right now is very, very strong, because it's just a squared up deck with one single single card. And because you've been recapping this whole time, you haven't touched the deck for at least 15 seconds. They're not going to be remembering the part when you out-jogged the card. That's completely unimportant to the trick. You're just showing them this image right here, which is the most important, and you kind of want to be hands off the deck for the rest of the trick because you don't really want the spectator to remember you touching the cards whatsoever. You want it to seem like they did everything themselves. And this image right here just totally sells that because you're not touching the deck when the trick is over. You can either have them do this or you can do this yourself, but I definitely recommend them doing it. Either taking the card out, looking at it, or you can just tell them to turn the deck over and then see the card that is sticking out of the middle of the deck, and this will be their card. And one more thing that you can do, but you don't have to do it, is you can spread the cards out here and just show this image of their card sticking out of the cards face up this time. This is also a really powerful image that they'll remember after the trick is over. And that's another important thing about images that you create, is that this is going to be the memory that the spectator will hold on to. They're not going to remember the part when you palmed the card and out-jogged it. Like, they're not going to remember all that stuff because you're going to make it not a big deal. That's the job of a magician, is to focus on the important things of the trick, which are the images, and the sleight of hand stuff, that's totally just going to be in the background of the spectator's mind because you want to make it not a big deal on purpose. So later, when they go home and they remember this trick, or if they tell their friends about this trick, they're going to tell them, hey, I saw this really cool magician and he showed me this really cool trick where I basically touched any card out of the deck and he didn't even touch the cards. And then he let me look at the card myself and it was the exact card that I had picked earlier and the cards were shuffled and everything. I have no idea how that's even possible. That's what you want the spectator to remember after the trick is over. So these images will really help lock that memory in their head. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys this really simple idea, really simple trick, but this can be applied to literally any card trick because you want to make sure that the spectator will remember these images that will help solidify the fact that perhaps you didn't touch the cards at all. Even if you did touch them, it doesn't matter. You're just going to enforce that idea by using these images and by you being hands off the deck. It really does work. It's very effective. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this and I hope you guys use this knowledge for future card tricks and even this one too. This is a really cool trick to perform to people if you guys are interested. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one and see you guys next time. Bye.